Hi everyone, this is a daily forecast on Euro-Dollar. Today is Friday, October 8th. This video is brought to you by Finteria Markets. Please check our website. You will find plenty of useful information on the website, including analytical tools and services. We have recently launched a new service which is called Currency Strength. You will also find lots of articles and online educational courses, as well as all information about trading conditions. We offer one of the lowest spreads in the market, and our spread on Eurodollar is below 0.1 pip most of the time. Let's start our analysis with winners and losers. It's one of my favorite tools, and it shows you the strongest and the weakest currencies across different time frames. Well, if we will check last 24 hours, the first thing that you will notice is that the Japanese yen fell around 0.5%. And actually, there was a quite strong risk on sentiment in the market, because you can see that both safe haven currencies are actually falling, including the Japanese yen, the Swiss franc. The US dollar was actually quite neutral. And at the same time, risky assets gained more substantially. You can see that the New Zealand dollar, the Australian dollar, and the Canadian dollar are all gaining around 0.2% or even higher. So this actually means that there is some risk on sentiment back to the markets. Let's also check the weekly time frame. Here we see that situation is slightly mixed, but some risky assets are starting to gain more ground, like the Australian dollar. So it became the second strongest currency, and I think it has potential to become one of the leading and strongest currencies in the coming days. The Canadian dollar has been quite strong for some time, and it's still holding the #1 position. And speaking about the safe haven currencies, here we actually have the Japanese yen, which fell more than 1%. We also have the US dollar among the losers, and it's can be surprising, but the euro is also performing very poorly recently. It's one of the weakest currencies so far. So let's talk about the stock market. We actually saw a strong rebound yesterday. Let's check how the markets are performing right now in Asia. I think it's quite important. The market in Korea is falling slightly, around 0.2%. We actually have strong performance in Japan. There's some bearish sentiment in the last hours. However, the opening is really good. The Chinese market has also opened, but currently it has a negative dynamics. But generally, I would say that it feels like it looks much better than before. Maybe the situation is a bit mixed, but generally the markets are slightly higher. We can also check Australia. Australia is performing much better. New Zealand is slightly negative. So generally, I would say the situation is mixed. If we will check the S&P index, well, we can see that the futures are performing neutrally. So probably we actually have a potential to move higher. At least this is my feeling, my opinion, that probably we might move higher on the stock market. Today, we have very important news coming from the US. It's non-farm payrolls report. So it's the main job report, which has excellent correlation with GDP. And it's one of the most leading indicators in the economy. So if the economy is able to create new jobs, it means that the economy is very strong. So, and the Fed is currently focused on the employment numbers. So that's why this report is going to be really important, and it's going to be a key report for this week and probably even for this month. So, however, this report is quite complex. We have the headline number, it's the non-farm payrolls, the number of jobs created in the economy. But in addition to this, we have unemployment rate. There's an inflation component to this report, average hourly earnings. So there's some expectations that this report can actually come much better than expected. So the expected value is 500,000 jobs. So, but given the fact that the economic stimulus is over in September, So probably many people returned to the job market, and I won't be surprised if there's going to be a really strong number this time. We also had different sneak peeks into this report, like the ADP employment report that was released on Wednesday. It was actually quite good. And yesterday we also had initial jobless claims, which came out also quite strong. The number was actually like at the levels below the pandemic. So the number of jobless claims was around 326. So overall, the expectations look quite great. In my opinion, the market will take some time to absorb this information, because once again, there's a lot of components to this report. There can be some revisions of previous month. So, you know, the market will take some time to analyze the data. But in case if we have a strong headline number, like it's going to be above 1 million or above, I would say, 800,000, of course, there is going to be a strong movement on the US dollar. It will be very positive for the stock market. Well, about the stock market, I'm not that sure. If we get a really strong number of job numbers, probably it can also be negative for the stock market, because the stock market will think that the Fed is going to tighten the monetary policy faster than expected. So it's hard to say what's going to be the exact reaction on the stock market, but it's definitely going to be a really strong signal for the US dollar. So let's finally switch to the charts and review the situation. I'm going to remind you how it looks like on the daily chart. So first of all, we were trading in this large triangle with blue lines. So we broke the level. Currently, we're in the middle of two key levels. So it's the level of the support, the lower line of the triangle, which is now the resistance line. At the same time, there is another level at 115. This is the level from pandemic era, from March 2020. So right now we're approximately in the middle, and I think there is a potential opportunity to test 115 today. In case if we will have a strong job report, I would bet that we might move till 115. So we can actually see very different scenarios. And today is the day when we have NFP. So potentially there can be lots of volatility. It's hard to expect what's going to be the number. I think predicting NFP is very difficult. We can have different reactions. So yeah, the report has a lot of subcomponents. So it's hard to expect. Sometimes, you know, during the NFP release, there are a lot of falsy movements. So I wouldn't exclude that we may move higher or lower. So let me first of all draw what can be the potential area of trading. So in my opinion, we're likely to stay in this area, in this zone. So, and I wouldn't exclude that in case if the job report is going to be, let's say, in line with the consensus value, or there's going to be some disappointment in the markets, I would expect that there can be a spike higher, and then we will move lower. This is like one of the scenarios. In case if we really get a good reading, a strong value, I think that we will just move straight to 115. Probably we can even break this level and move much lower. It's hard to say. In my opinion, this level is going to be very strong, so some potential rebound is possible. And you know, once again, you should buy the rumor and sell the news. I wouldn't expect that after this movement there can be a stronger rebound. So in any case, I think reaching 115 is on the table. It's one of the possible scenarios for today. So in any case, I recommend to consider short positions. If the job report is really strong, it can be a no-brainer. You can just try to sell, and hopefully the market will be not that volatile and you will have a good entry point. But in case if the report is mixed, then I would say that situation can be very different. It's hard to say it can be 50-50, but still I would recommend you short positions from higher levels. So potentially 116 can be a good level. or slightly lower. So anyway, consider short positions only. Probably in case just if the report will be very negative. I don't think it's very likely, it's not expected, but in case if the report will be negative, like around 100,000 or even negative value, so probably this would actually create a lot of pressure on the US dollar. And of course, in this case, we would see a much higher correction. Definitely, we would go back to 116.60. So that's how I think the market would perform, but this is not a likely scenario. In my opinion, we will get a pretty good job report. So that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please support our channel by likes and comments. And do not forget to subscribe to the channel so that you do not miss the following videos. Thank you very much for watching, and I wish you a nice day.